So hi, this is Mike with Mountain Boys. Back today to talk a little bit more about tire chains. And the title of this video, I don't really want it to be super clickbait, but I think it's important because, well, I just want to share an email I got with all of you a few weeks ago. Hi, Badia, my name is so-and-so, and I'm reaching out on behalf of DEDC, a company specializing in high-quality snow chains designed to provide enhanced safety and traction during winter driving conditions. They say that they've been following my content on YouTube, impressed, yada, 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 and then they go through a spiel about why their chains are the best thing since sliced bread. So, a couple things here first. The number one video that I actually have on my channel is how to install tire chains on pickups. It has somewhere upwards of 50,000 views right now. I don't publish a lot on YouTube, especially lately, but it seems like as soon as I got a video that reached a certain number of views, well, then people start coming out of the woodwork to try to hawk their wares through my channel. So I will tell you that my first thought was, I should buy a set of these snow chains and just see what they're all about. So I'd have I could give an honest review of their product without even having to deal with this company directly. But I will say here that they say we would love to collaborate with you on a product review and hear your honest opinion. Well, I'm gonna probably skip the collaboration part here, but I am gonna give you my honest opinion. So their brand of snow chains, it seems like they kind of had two tiers. They had a quick kind of like diamonds over the tire pattern and more of your standard tire chain pattern. What they did have though, and these are the two things I didn't like, on kind of their diamond pattern chain, where the diamonds comes up to a point and the chains meet on the middle of your tire, right where you're putting the most torque and traction on your tire. The chains are held together by a circle ring, not even a chain link. A really looked to me like light duty ring. And I can tell you, I wouldn't trust that chain out here in the woods at all. You'd catch it on one rock or something like that. Ping, done. Suddenly you've snapped a pair of chains, and then you're probably ripping out brake lines and everything else. There are other chains, ones that are a little bit more expensive, use a mechanical cable tensioner on them. So instead of, more traditional styles, like you've got your rotating lock, or you've got chains with cam tighteners, and we'll look at those in a minute, both kinds. Instead, they had a mechanical cable operation that would take up the slack in there and hold them tight. Now, I can tell you that I'm not going to trust the robustness of a tire chain held on with that kind of tensioning device out here in the woods either. I feel like that's going to be your single weakest point in the whole system, and that's going to be your failure point. My opinion, for what it's worth, is go with something tried and true. Don't try to get something that says, oh, this is, easy on, easy off, on and under a minute, it'll save you time, and it's just as good as these other kinds. My opinion, no, they're not. Don't waste your money on those sets of chains if you're going to trust your truck to them and you're up here in the woods. That's just bottom line, my opinion. So these people at DEDC, I realized I didn't need to buy their chains to make that point, but they asked for my opinion via their email, so there it is. So, okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the other types of tire chains. So, Oop, oop. Let's find the ends here. Find the ends. So this is a set of cam lock tire chains. So what that means is once you get the chain around your tire hooked up outside and inside of your tire, these little cams, rotate, lock into place with a little tool. You have to put quite a bit of torque on them, and then they take up all the slack that way, and they tighten up and tension up. That's a cam lock version, and you know those can be fine. I have found, and some of my friends have found too, that run those more than I do, that those cam lock wrenches can actually be pretty hard to twist. You have to put quite a bit of torque on those, and been afraid that, you know, you're going to bust the little tightening tool. So that's a consideration. Otherwise, you are looking at the traditional chain catch mechanism here. So I'll just kind of demonstrate this briefly. And for a more thorough explanation on these different types of chains, go see that original video, you know, that apparently attracted the attention of the vultures. So anyway, this is just a set of chains that I picked up for the new pickup actually today, because I only had a set of cam locks now for the new pickup, and I wanted a set of, you know, the traditional clasp and traditional locking cam mechanism, as opposed to, you know, the rotating cam tensioners. So these just use one cam to lock them in when you get them around. So these are the two different types of chain that I would recommend out here in the woods. And you know, you could always, if you're going to be, you know, driving on, you know, straight up ice, like if you're going to be out on a lake or something, that's where kind of the V-bar chain, you know, the links that are going across your tire here, they'll have the little, not quite spikes, but just yeah, well, a V-bar. Look up V-bar and you'll figure it out real quick. Those I would suggest for just kind of like straight up ice driving. Now, as regards to the new 2024 TRD Tacoma itself and the tires I've got on it, you know, we had some pretty good snow up here today. The roads were pretty snow-packed, icy in spots for sure. But I do have to say that my Hankook Dynapro AT2 Extremes are still doing the trick up here. There's maybe one or two tricky spots, and, you know, for SH blank blank its and giggles, I may just go ahead and slap on a pair of chains to get out of here and see how I like the new set anyway. So I will note that if you're going to use the more traditional type of tire chain like this one, like I like, you are going to need, well, and of course they're all mangled and tangled and everything else besides, you are going to need some tensioners. So these are basically just, you know, tensioners, or as my dad would call them, star bungees, if I can get one out of this mess. So what happens when you throw all your chains in a bucket or in a bag or in a box, and then you go to grab them, and you got a bird's nest Charlie Foxtrot going on. So, okay, here we go. So what you got here is you've got a lot of these little grabber hooks, and you've got basically a loop bungee. And these will just go around on the chain, you know, start at the top, click them in, put your weight into it, get them down, and these will cinch up the chains and take up any of that extra slack on the outside of your chain, or on the outside of the wheel and tire, as opposed to the inside. And that'll help keep these chains tight and on your tire. You know, I also like to use just your everyday bungee cords too, especially with the tag ended chain. Once you've hooked it in and looped it up, I like to, you know, tidy up that tag ended chain. And maybe if you need a little bit more attention than those kind of star tighteners, star bungees can provide, a few of these will do the trick too. So that's really, by and large, the big difference. I mainly wanted to make this video because, you know, apparently even on my small YouTube channel now, the vultures are circling, and yeah, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna stoop that low, not for a dinky set of chains that I wouldn't have any faith in the woods, my opinion. So, other than that, other things you should consider with your tire chains too is, you know, I carry a fair amount of other stuff with me in the pickup. You know, I've always got some type of shovel on me right now. This is just a little collapsible snow shovel, almost like Abby shovel. I have a proper spade shovel with a T-handle, whatever, up top in the box too. I keep some tarps, you know. Being wintertime, I have one of my sleds that usually rides around in the back of the pickup too. So, and a stool. Just a few things, you know, make your life a little easier when you're putting on your chains and everything. But, you know, go see that other video if you want to kind of see more of the how-to. But I thought it was pretty funny that yeah, like I said, the vultures were circling and suddenly they just like came out of the woodwork and say, here, you know, they all they want to do is find someone to shill their stuff and get you to buy it. So whatever. I don't care what kind of brand chains you want to run on your truck. Really, that's up to you. I'm just here to give you, you know, my opinion of what I think is good and everything. And you know, that's because I've spent, you know, basically my whole lifetime with trucks in the woods. So take that for what it's worth or not. Doesn't really matter to me. But I'll talk to you next time.